morning, beautiful people. I am so excited to be here and watch that unlike many of the centers and churches we have played around the country, y'all have come back stronger after the great pause. More exciting things happening around here after those 4 years where many churches do not have their building anymore, where many churches closed down or all just virtual now as we travel around the country. So to be here and see y'all thriving and see all these wonderful activities that are part of your center, I can't wait till we get to come back. So we have been here speaking, or I have been here a little bit longer than Angelina, because I was here a couple of times before I met her in different locations. I think you were originally on the water long time ago. And so this is about our 14th time, my 14th time to be here. And one of our favorite things to talk about is gratitude. And also that's very, very true for Chris and Nancy, because we were talking a lot about that this morning. Grateful for our lives, grateful for, we can always find things to be grateful for. So we're going to have as much fun with you today talking about one of our favorite subjects in the whole world.
And the daily word, an attitude of gratitude. That's what we're going to talk about today. And so one of the things we love to do is when we first get up in the morning, we love to talk about gratitude, what we're grateful for. You know, you can say, thank God for this glorious day, and these are the things I'm grateful for today. And so we like to get outside and be in the sun and our feet on the soil and or sand, where we built a beach in our backyard, so we have sand in our backyard. And then we like to, in the evening, this was inspired by Alan Cohen, who's a motivational speaker and author. And he says at the end of the day, before you go to bed, reflect on the joys of the day. And it's such a nice way to do that and then go into slumberland and be grateful in that.
Exactly. So we're going to sing a song now that is all about the law of attraction. You've just entered a place of love, a dimension beyond time, a dimension beyond space, for you have entered the unity zone. And we here in the unity zone follow a different set of phenomena than the regular folks. In the regular world, they teach you if you have something and you share it and you give it away, you end up with less. But we in the unity zone know if you have something and you share it and give it away, you end up with, spoken like true unitics. That's what people call you behind your backs. Kind of like an ancient Aboriginal tool known as the boomerang. Now, ideally, the boomerang is supposed to go out and come back, right? What do you call it if it doesn't come back? A stick, or lost, or broken, yeah, either way. However, spiritual law is never a stick. It's always a boomerang. What we put out comes back to us, often multiplied. So it's important to be mindful about what you're boomeranging out there. But we're going to talk a little bit later about not becoming a fanatic about what you put out there, because that just makes you feel guilty if things don't go exactly perfectly for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, because we all had maybe some guilt in our childhood traditions, and then we got away from it, and then we brought law of attraction guilt into our current life. And so we're going to help remind you that nothing that makes you feel guilty can ever be good for you. All right.
Love is a boomerang.
Everybody sing with me.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and it comes right back.
Love is a boomerang.
Hear the words that are going to set you free.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and it comes right back.
Love is a boomerang. Love is a boomerang.
Give Give it away, it's gonna come right back now.
Love is a boomerang.
Hear the words that set you free.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away and it comes right back. Give it, listen everybody, to what's burning in my soul. Here's something you can use, gonna make you healthy, safe and whole. You can read it in the Bible, it's in the golden rule. You don't need to go to the land down under to find this magic tool, because
Love is a boomerang.
so is money, so is kindness.
Love is a boomerang.
Ha! Give it away, it's gonna come right back.
Love is a boomerang.
So is anger, so is judgment.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away, it's gonna come right back. When you wake up in the morning, try a different attitude. While you're drinking coffee, fill yourself with gratitude. Try loving everything you see, it'll change the way you live. There ain't no way to outgive God, I guarantee you this, because
Love is a boomerang.
so is money, so is kindness.
Love is a boomerang.
Ha! Give it away, it's gonna come right back.
Love is a boomerang.
So is anger, so is judgment.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away, it's gonna come right back.
Love is a boomerang.
I feel an old-fashioned revival coming down.
Love is a boomerang.
You give it away and it comes right back.
Love is a boomerang.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Oh yeah?
Love is a boomerang.
Help me, Jesus. Woo!
Love is a boomerang.
So is money, so is kindness.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away, it's gonna come right back.
Love is a boomerang.
So is anger, so is judgment.
Love is a boomerang.
Give it away, it's gonna come right back. Give it away, it's gonna come right back. You can't give it away, because it comes right back. I feel the power in the house today. Glory. I grew up going to Pentecostal churches. Now, in the very beginning, Angelina and I both had something in common all those 60-some-odd years ago. We were born into a Catholic family. As a matter of fact, we're both three-quarters Catholic. Had a minister tell me one time, that's sacrilegious. So I kept doing it. Anyway, yes, and then I became a Pentecostal. And what I loved about Pentecostalism was that it was a 24/7 spirituality. I loved that about it. But after a while, some of the dogma and judgment for other people and their lifestyles didn't work for me anymore. So I had to move on. But then when I found Unity in 1984, it was another spiritual tradition that believed that spirituality was 24/7. And if you think about it, it's right in our slogan, practical Christianity. What does the word practical mean? Something you could use in your life right now. Not just talking about thousands of years ago, but how does it relate to your life right now? So we get tools that can make every single aspect of 2024 and beyond better for us because of this practical Christianity tool. Now, one of the things I missed when I first got into Unity was a little bit of the excitement and enthusiasm and the tambourines and the singing and the exciting, although y'all did a very good job of singing along with both of those, all three of those sing-alongs that we just did. Give yourselves a hand. I definitely heard lots of people getting into it. So I thought, well, you know, maybe I could become like a New Thought evangelist. That would be kind of cool. I could bring some of that Pentecostal enthusiasm into what I was doing at Unity churches. So here we go. Brothers and sisters of the congregation, we are here today to raise consciousness. For there are only two emotions really that we really need to be concerned about. The all-encompassing emotion of love, which includes them all, and its apparent opposite, fear. Now, when you're in a state of love, it's a heavenly experience. But when you're in a state of fear, it's like being in hell. Now, Unity does not believe in a place called hell. Can I get an amen? Because some of y'all would have been going for show. But there is no place called hell. There is a virtual hell, though. And do you know where the virtual hell is? The hell of fear-based thinking. And fear-based thinking is a fiery pit. By the way, you will never hear fiery pit on this stage ever again. Guaranteed. It's a fire. Who's ever been in the fiery pit of fear-based thinking? Ooh, it hurts. It hurts. So Angelina and I came. Now, usually I say we came all the way from Orlando because last week we were at Unity of Williamsburg, Virginia. But I can say we came just across the street in Orlando with one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to love the hell out of you. And one of the ways we get to love the hell out of you is having Angelina play her guitar and sing and share some of her truths.
Before you do that, though, will you introduce to them the Gratitui?
I will introduce to them Gratitui. So, anybody ever try to be perfect? As Dr. Phil would say, how's that working for you? My mom said something to me very, very powerfully when I was a teenager. Son, shoot for excellence. Perfection is demoralizing. We don't want to do demoralizing things thinking that we have to do things exactly right. So one day when I had been, again, imperfect, like I was when I broke your thing in the bathroom yesterday, I heard this message. And the message was, every time you miss the mark, or what they call sin in traditional religion, miss the mark. Every time you say or think or do something that you know is not your highest self, forgive yourself and say two things around the subject that are positive to raise your vibration back up where it was. So let's give an example. Oh, it was so hot today. Anybody ever say that? So when you complain about the weather, two things happen. The first thing that happens is not only are you experiencing the physical heat, but you bring your vibration down complaining about it. So you get a double whammy of heat. You get the fire from within to make it even more hot. And the second thing is, it doesn't help, right? It's really not effective. So you do that and you lower your vibration a little bit. Not a big deal, but just a little bit. And then you go, and I'm grateful that my air conditioning is working. Just talking about that today. Guess where? You're back where you started. Let's go ahead and take another step. And I'm grateful I'm not shoveling snow. Anybody ever shovel snow? It ain't fun. So what you've done there is you've forgiven yourself for stepping back a little bit, and actually your consciousness is higher because of what you did that was missing the mark, that wasn't perfect, quote unquote perfect. We had about 9 people at our wonderful chanting group last night, and we talked a little bit about this. You know, great sailors were not made on calm seas. You become the fabulous person that you are because of the challenges. Have you ever met somebody that you think, wow, this person is awesome? I'm not going to bring anybody up, Crystal, but you meet them and you find out how awesome they are, and you find out that awesomeness was shaped by some pretty rough stuff. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Our rough stuff is what teaches us and makes us greater. We have to strive to be greater. Anybody ever get angry? Anybody feel bad about being angry? I used to be one of those people. I'm not going to feel angry. It's fine. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful emotion. One of our friends in Williamsburg told me that anger is the most spiritual emotion. And I went, wait a second. How in God's name? She wasn't saying the anger that attacks people and hurts yourself. She was talking about the motivational aspect that we don't often talk about. When you get angry at the way the society is doing certain things, it motivates you to be different. So when we think of Jesus and Martin Luther King and Buddha and Gandhi and all of them, we don't think of anger because we don't see the negative side of anger. But the positive side of anger was they knew something wasn't cool, and they set their mind to changing it and shifting it. So that was the positive side of anger, motivating them to make a change. that was a brand new concept to me. We can turn every single thing around that God gave us into something that we can use for good, okay? You see an injustice going on, let the positive anger motivate you to go and do something about it, right? Go do something about it. So that's the beautiful thing of letting that motivate you. Anger can motivate you. All the emotions can be used for positivity. So we hope that you will allow all the emotions to come up in you, feel them, experience them, and then you can let them go. Kind of like it's great to visit all these emotions, even the challenging ones, like resentment and that kind of stuff. But you don't want to buy property there. And some people get stuck there, and so we want to move beyond that. So, I got carried away there.
I love it.
I was just in the moment. Squirrel.
So years ago, we were in Sedona, which is just beautiful, beautiful, God-given beauty to us. And I was really grateful. And so Armand told me, he goes, well, why don't you write a song about it? And I said, well, I've never written a song. I'm not really a songwriter. And he said,
Every great thing that anyone has done that we know about, they hadn't done before. Right? So you're in great company.
right. So I wrote this song, the lyrics, with the help of Beethoven's melody about gratitude.
And some of you may know this.
I am grateful, oh, so grateful for the blessings in my life. I am grateful, oh, so grateful for the blessings in my life. I am grateful, oh, so grateful for the blessings in my life. I am grateful, oh, so grateful for the blessings in my life. Thank you, Spirit, oh great Spirit, omnipresent in all things. I am grateful, oh so grateful for the blessings in my life. Thank you, Spirit, oh great Spirit, omnipresent in all things. I am grateful, oh so grateful for the blessings in my life. I am grateful, oh, so grateful. You are a blessing in
Big Disney ending.
my
Why? Because we loved you.
life. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story about gratitude. Years ago, I was at a Wendy's because I love French fries. And people tell me they're not good for you, but I love them and I eat them. So anyway, I was at this Wendy's to get my French fries. And when I got to the window, I asked the young man, "How are you?" And he answered with, "I am grateful." And that so touched me. I wasn't expecting that kind of response, especially from a teen. And it was just so beautiful because what it did, it reminded me to be grateful, you know. So when you say that, "How are you? I'm grateful," it brings you joy, but it also brings the other person joy, perhaps, so that they can go, "Wow, I'm grateful too," or "Wow, that was a really beautiful response," or whatever that is. So I encourage you the next time that someone asks, "How are you?" that you answer with, "I am grateful."
I love that. How are you? I'm grateful. You should see your faces right now. Do you know how hard it is to frown saying, "I am grateful"? You're not going, "I'm It makes you happy just saying it. So hear it and say it as often as possible. Because a lot of times when people say, "How are you?" they're really not asking you. Really what they're saying is hello. Well, go ahead and give them an answer. "I am grateful." That'll mess them up. They're just expecting you to go, "I'm fine." That's what we all say, fine. I heard something that fine wasn't not necessarily a thing. It had something to do with neurotic. I know that N-word was neurotic in the end. Anyway, so we're not just fine. We're grateful. I'm grateful for all of that led me to here, everything that led me to here. And I'm grateful consciously about it, but I've often had unconscious not so gratefulness about my past. And then recently I listened to an audio book by Matthew McConaughey. Believe it or not, that is a self-help guru. You'd be surprised. And guess what? He's had a lot of stuff. We listened to his childhood growing up. Ours was a piece of cake compared to that guy. And yet he knew every single bit of it was fertilizer for who he could be right now, to grow into the man he is. So he helped me get this grateful for everything on a whole new level. Grateful for everything that happened in my life. I'm also grateful when the good stuff happened, when the gentle stuff happened, when the accepting, loving, appreciative stuff happened. And I'm also grateful, even though there wasn't much of this in my childhood, for the people that were consistently loving to me. Okay, consistently loving to me. And this guy comes to mind. Are you ready to sing, boys and girls?
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine?
Won't you be my neighbor? Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to Angelina and Armand's neighborhood. It's a special word, and it's a special day, okay? Today, we're going to be talking about a phrase that was very confusing to me when I first heard it in Unity, kind of like we talked about last night. Father, Mother, God. When I first heard that, before it made sense, it was so different than what I had heard. And the other one that I heard that kind of confused me, affirmative prayer. Let's say that together. Affirmative prayer. It's a special phrase. Now, when I heard that, I said, that's an oxymoron. That's like jumbo shrimp, or constructive criticism, or patiently waiting. It doesn't make sense. It took me a while to understand what affirmative prayer really was, because I was taught to pray this way. Dear God, out there with whom I have nothing in common, you have all the stuff. I don't have enough of the stuff. Can I get some more stuff? That's sort of the way we were taught to pray. Anybody pray like that when they were younger? A prayer of begging for more because from this being that you didn't feel one with? That's the traditional kind of prayer. Asking, thinking that an all-loving God would decide who to dole things out to and to decide which ones were good and which ones were going to burn eternally. That whole concept makes zero sense to me. And I respect everyone's right that does believe that way to believe that. That's fine. Believe that way. But it makes no sense to me. No sense to me to pray that way. And so I realized over time, and my prayers changed to affirmative prayers. And the affirmative prayer is you're grateful in advance for God's perfect timing. You're affirming all the good you have, affirming God's perfect timing, and putting out into the universe what it is you desire. Okay? However, I was a little bit confused with affirmations. You can always tell somebody that's been in unity for just a little while, they get really super crazy excited about affirmations. You'll see them all over their house. I spray painted the side of my van in 1988. Think, love, create peace with black spray paint on a white van. It was crazy. I spray painted one of my walls in my home, drywall. I am complete. Now, why did I do that? Because there was a part of me that didn't feel that was true. And I thought if I look at it every day, as they say in the 12-step programs, fake it till you make it sometime. And affirmations are a fabulous way to raise up your vibration even if you're not quite there yet. But what's a little confusing is we also talk about there is only one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God the good omnipotent. I like to say God the good, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, all the omnis. If that's true, and I know it is, then I'm one with that God. So there's a part of me that I'm praying to. That's kind of cool, isn't it? You're praying to the part of you, your higher self. You know? I remember from catechism. Anybody go to catechism? I was catechism boy. I got in trouble a lot. You know, I was like George Carlin. You know, George Carlin once said to his priest, if God is all powerful, can he create a rock so heavy he can't lift it? He got thrown out of catechism too. Okay? But I remember in catechism, before we even ask, God already knows. Anybody ever heard that? It's kind of a duh in a way because God already knows, because a part of us that's asking for anything that's going to make our world better and ourselves better, our higher self already knows that. Okay? So I realized, well, why am I doing these affirmations? Why do I put affirmations everywhere? I know they work, but if God already knows, and I'm connected to that God that already knows, and that means I already know, why do I do that? And I heard a very clear message. So you can get into alignment with what I already know. Dude, that was absolutely what I needed to hear. So I still do them, but from a different perspective. I'm doing my affirmations so I can get into alignment with what my higher self and God as a whole already knows. Do you know what God does when you do an affirmation? If God spoke, he would say, she would say, they would say, duh. Right? Dear God, I desire to have more abundance in my life. Duh. Dear God, I desire to meet my ideal romantic partner to share my love, my life, and my ministry with and become an ours. Duh. Where do you think you got the desire? From your own higher self, which is God. It's almost like the word, even if you take it out in Latin and stuff, desire of the Father, desire of the Father, Mother, God. Or I think it meant duh, sire. Okay, when we edit this edit that part out, that was not good. Okay, anyway, so my prayers became different with the affirmative idea. The prayers became, dear God, with whom I'm totally connected. I am in you, you are in me. I am one, and a part of me knows all that I'm praying for in advance and also knows the ideal timing. And again, I talked about some of this last night, but I'm going to share it again. I heard something recently that really resonated with me. God has one of three answers to all of our prayers. Yes, not right now, and I have something better. Okay? Have you ever had something that you wanted to happen a certain way, it didn't, and it worked out? God had something better. For many of us, that's that prayer we made, that our first marriage would last forever. We are so glad that didn't work out. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? That didn't work out because God had something better. That's a perfect example of something that you knew in your heart was forever and it wasn't. And it turned out to work out better for you because it wasn't. But we all went there, so we can go that with all this stuff. I thank you in advance for all the perfect timing. I thank you in advance for all that I have. And I'm going to affirm what it is I desire to walk into so I can get more in alignment with you. Thank you, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, and so it is. Doesn't that feel more empowering than the prayer of begging? The prayer of begging actually works too. Doesn't work as well, but it does work. That's called grace. There is grace. You don't have to get it perfect. You really don't. You don't have to get it perfect. That is what we need to remember, is that we did not come here to do everything perfect. I like to think of life like a bowling alley. Do we have any bowlers out there? We haven't bowled in a alley as often post-COVID as we did before. We need to get back to it. But I look at life like a bowling alley. But in a bowling alley, you only get 2 balls per frame, right? In life, if you missed a strike and you missed a spare, you just get to throw the ball again. Try it again. Let me tell you how many times I missed the strike in love. 12 other girls that I thought were going to be my life partners, I messed up 12 other times. But I finally got a strike. Can I get an amen? But I just kept throwing the ball. I kept trying again. I said, I'll learn a lesson. I'll move on. I'll do better. I'll aim better. I'll find the right person. And so you get unlimited balls to throw down the alley and until you get whatever you want. God is that loving, constantly loving. None of the human characteristics of impatience and judgment, okay, and criticism are in the part of you that is God. When you step into that all-loving place, you're just being God, okay? You're just being God. I see the Christ in you. You see the Christ in me. We say that all the time. It's not somebody outside of us. It's within us. We're lucky to have some great examples of it so we can emulate that. So in closing, I have one question for all of you, a very, very important question, and that is, how are you?
Grateful.
And so it is. Thank you.